Hey everyone, it's the Diplomat coming to you from the USA, and we are here on part 14 of the Chris Watts Discovery Read-Through. And we last finished off on page 249, which was a supplemental from Officer Baumover regarding evidence. Now, as I left off in the last video, I want to give fair warning of the following information that's to come. So if you don't feel it's the right thing for you to listen to or read or see some of the more disturbing and difficult type of information, I ask that you pause it, and I'm going to try to put the time, the times either in the description or post as a pinned comment so that anyone can see the parts that are, more difficult, and if you think skipping it is the right thing for you, please do so. I'll try to do that regularly. I'll try to explain what it is so that you're not missing, everything, but it does go into detail. It's not easy. I've actually recorded this about 5 times already because I realized I needed to give more of a fair warning and a more, more stringent one. Just because the nature of this kind of stuff. So, so otherwise, we'll get moving into page 250. That's evidence, again, chain of custody from the Office of the Coroner, Weld County. This is, first page is regarding Shanann. So this is evidence that was turned over to Baumover from Mickey Medical on August 17th at 10:20. Again, this is Shanann. I'll read the item, description, and then location found. 1. Blue thong type underwear on her body. 2. Purple, white cotton t-shirt with silver peace sign and heart design. Body. 3. Black bra on her body. 4. White metal post nose ring with clear stone. Left nasal. 5. Brown paper bag, right hand. 6. Brown paper bag, left hand. That was to preserve any evidence found on her hands. 7. Sheet, body bag. 8. Fingernails, right hand. 9. Fingernails, left hand. 10. Palmar swabs, right hand. 11. Palmar swabs, left hand. The following items don't have a location found, but that is 12 face swabs, item 13, anterior neck swabs, 14, control swabs, 15, x-ray disc, 16, DNA card, CBI, 17, fingerprints, 18, anterior neck swabs, clean, 19, fetus, CBI, location found, mom. Wow. Page 251. I told you this wasn't easy. So, if you're still listening and that was too much, please continue to skip ahead. Celeste. 1. White underwear, Minnie Mouse. 2. Pink oil-soaked t-shirt. 3. Face swabs, dirty. 4. Face swabs, clean. 5. Anterior neck swabs, dirty. 6. Anterior neck swabs, clean. 7. Oral swabs. 8. Vaginal swabs. 9. DNA card. 10. X-ray disc. 11. Control swabs. 12. Skin from right and left hands. 13. Diaper destroyed. And here's Bella. 1. Pink pajama top with heart and butterfly design. Body. 2. Oil-soaked underwear. Body. 3. Face swabs. Clean. 4. Anterior neck swabs. Clean. 5. Anterior neck swabs. Dirty. 6. Face swabs. Dirty. 7. Oral swabs. 8. Vaginal swabs. 9. Left palmar swabs. 10. Right palmar swabs. 11. Left hand fingernails clippings. 12. Right hand fingernail clippings. 13. Control. 14. DNA card. 15. X-ray disc. Discovery page 253. Now this is Boulder County Sheriff's Office, Officer Catherine Tkach on August 14th, 2018. So this is regarding, this just has address information for them, date and time again. So we will go into, it lists the persons here, Shanann, Christopher, and the officer themselves. Deputy Katie Tkach. This report will detail a canine track during an agency assist for Frederick Police Department. Canine Scout and I responded to 2825 Saratoga to assist Frederick PD in locating a missing mother and her 2 children. Canine Scout and I found no trails leading away from the residence. We advised Frederick police officers of our findings and were released from the scene. Recommended case status closed. Then page 254 continued. It has their names again. Narrative. On August 14th, 2018, at approximately 1000 hours, I, Deputy Katie Tkach, was dispatched along with Sardis, that's Search and Rescue Dogs of the United States, to respond to Frederick Police Department for a canine track. I obtained permission from Sergeant Mike Linden to respond out of the county with my canine, Scout. Canine Scout is a bloodhound, certified in suburban trailing and human remains detection through Sardis. 2 other Sardis handlers responded with me. Upon arrival, officers explained that a pregnant female named Shanann Watts, 34 years old, and her 2 young daughters have been missing since 0530 hours on August 13th. Her vehicle was still at the house, along with her cell phone and any additional clothing or items for the children. Frederick Police Officer Perez then escorted us to the missing woman's address. After consent was obtained by Christopher Watts, I entered the home with 2 Frederick police officers to collect scent articles to use for the canine track. All laundry had been washed or touched by Christopher. The beds had been made by Christopher since Shanann and her children had disappeared, making it difficult to find a scent article. I asked Christopher to point out their shoes. He showed me a pair of flip-flops that Shanann had worn home from the airport. Christopher had previously touched the straps of these sandals. While wearing latex gloves, I placed a piece of a sterile gauze in the flip-flops under the straps and let it stay there for a few minutes. Christopher also pointed out 2 pairs of shoes that his daughters had worn home from a pool party on Saturday. Christopher told me he had touched the shoes when he put them on the deck to dry. I placed a sterile gauze down inside the toe portion of each pair of shoes for a few minutes. After the time had passed, I collected the gauze and placed them in Ziploc bags. I exited the house. Christopher gave one of the Frederick police officers consent to have a canine search the house. Sardis member Jane searched the house with her canine for human remains. Boulder County Park Ranger Jeff Hybert also searched the house with his canine. Afterwards, Ranger Hybert and I attempted tracks with our canine starting at the opposite ends of the block. I scented Canine Scout on the gauze that I had collected from Shanann's shoe and told him to go find. That's in quotes. We checked all surrounding intersections within a few blocks of the house. Canine Scout would either show a negative at the intersection or walk along the edge of what appeared to be the scent pool. At one point, Canine Scout turned north from Windham Hill Parkway into a field between Saratoga Trail and Steeple Rock Drive. He circled the tanks in the field, but lost interest, and I brought him back to Windham Hill Parkway. We then continued checking intersections until we had completely circled the residence within the radius of a few blocks. During the track, I did not locate any scent trails leading away from the house. Ranger Hybert and his canine came to the same conclusion. I traced our path on a map provided by Frederick officers and gave it to Officer Perez and advised him our findings. We were released from the scene. Nothing further. Recommended case status closed. Now here on page 256, there's an actual map here, so if you're just listening, it'll be a little bit more difficult. But basically they go, around the neighborhood to, I guess that's the east and south. But it looks like, they go around the block a distance. It's a fair amount of space that they cover. Actually, it says dog 1.97 miles, so that was almost 2 miles of walking. Duration was 54 minutes. Age, it was less than 1 hour. I'm not sure what that means. And conditions, clear sky. So if you want to come back and look at that map later, you can on page 256. Also on 257. And again, this is on Tuesday, August 14th at 1:38 in the afternoon. Okay, so this is them going back. This is another part of the map as well, going to the other side from the house than the last map. And that was 0.86 miles, 50 minutes. So that's about 2 hours of searching, about 3 miles. The other stuff is just like wind, weather conditions and things like that. 258 incident report, Dacono Police Department. Event August 14th. And regarding 2825 Saratoga Trail, it's her house. This is an assist of other agency regarding Christopher Watts, written by Jackie Boyer on August 15th. It was written. She writes, on August 14th, 2018, I assisted Frederick Police Department by downloading the phone of Christopher Watts. Frederick Sergeant Albert brought the phone over. Sergeant Albert stated that they had permission to search the phone and that he would send a copy over at a later date. I used the Sustine equipment provided by the Dacono Police Department. The download began at 21:17 hours and was completed at 21:33 hours. I saved the report onto a thumb drive that was given to Sergeant Albert. I did not review or interpret the information for him. And then supplemental narrative by Jesse Lambert on August 23rd this was written. Wait, I don't know how that's possible, because then it goes on to say August 25th. That's a typo. It's got to be August 15th. On what I believe to be August 15th at about 0700 hours, I compressed the Secure View phone download of Christopher Watts to a zip folder and uploaded it to evidence.com. Okay, that could have occurred on August 25th, but then that just means that the date they wrote there was wrong, because that was written, it says on the 23rd. And it's not that big of a deal. Okay, next is another incident report from Firestone Police Department in Firestone, Colorado on August 16th at 10:53. The synopsis: I assisted FEPD with a search of the area west of the address listed in the report. The search was conducted via SUAS. And then it just lists, everyone's names there: Shanann, Chris, Bella, and Celeste, and their personal information. Next is narrative written by William DeWitt on 8/16th, same police department. On the morning of August 14th at approximately 9:30 a.m., I, Corporal DeWitt, was contacted by Sergeant Bedsaw with the Frederick Police Department via telephone. Bedsaw requested that I conduct a search with our small unmanned aerial system. Oh, okay, this is what they're doing, not the dogs. This is the drones, I guess. Of the area west of 2825 Saratoga, which is located in the town of Frederick, County of Weld, and State of Colorado, for a missing female and her 2 daughters. Bedsaw advised me that a pregnant mother, Shanann, and her 2, 3, and 4-year-old daughters, Celeste and Bella, were missing from the residence and had been missing since Monday afternoon. Bedsaw advised that Shanann had not taken a vehicle and her purse, phone, and wallet were still at the residence. Bedsaw advised that Shanann and her husband, Christopher Watts, had been civilly discussing divorcing and had an emotional discussion, in quotes, the night before she and the kids went missing. I responded to the intersection of Summit Lane and Billings Avenue and set up SUAS Matrix 1 and completed the UAV mission checklist. I deployed Matrix 1 and searched the area between Highway 52 on the south, Weld County Road, WCR 5 on the west, and the west side of Windham Hill Subdivision, and approximately Holly Street on the north. I flew at various altitudes and started by flying north to south and moving in increments to the west. That allowed me to overlap the areas I already searched. I then flew random patterns, focusing on the canal, ditches, and bodies of water in the search area. I was unable to locate anything in the search area that appeared to be related to Shanann, Bella, or Celeste. I contacted Bedsaw and advised them on my findings. No further action at this time. Next page, 262, Incident Report. Also Firestone Police Department, dated August 20th at 13:30. This is also William DeWitt. Synopsis. Assist Frederick Police Department with searching well site near Rogan with SUAS. So this is when they did the drone over the oil tanks. Just lists their names again with personal information, and then here's the narrative by William DeWitt. On August 15th, 2018, at approximately 2 p.m., Commander Borders and myself, Corporal DeWitt, met with Agent Matt Saylor and Agent Greg Zentner from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation and a representative from Anadarko, Luke, at the Love's truck stop in Hudson, Colorado. We were requested by Commander Dave Egan with the Frederick Police Department to assist in searching the area around an oil well site located at latitude 40.2 and longitude negative 104.3, which is located in County of Weld and State of Colorado, with our small unmanned aerial system, SUAS, for anything that might be related to the disappearance of Shanann Watts and her two daughters, Celeste and Bella Watts. Luke led us out to the site, and Greg confirmed that we had permission from Anadarko to search the area. Greg advised us that on the morning before Shanann, Celeste, and Bella were reported missing, Christopher Watts had come out to the well site for work, which had been confirmed with the GPS in his work truck. When we arrived at the site, Luke explained the layout of the site. The site was surrounded by barbed wire fence, and the main site was within that fence. On the south side of the site was the well. To the northeast of the well was a separator, and to the northwest of the separator was a small tank that was open on top, with a net over it that held water, and two larger tanks that were directly to the west of the water tank that held oil and water. Luke explained the water in the smaller tank was removed from the larger tanks as the oil and water separated, leaving primarily oil in the large tanks. Myself and Borders set up Matrix 1, and Borders completed the UAV mission checklist. Borders piloted the SUAS first and started by taking overall photos of the area and the oil well site. Borders then began a systematic search inside the fenced area and started by flying over the south side of the site. Within a few minutes, Borders discovered what appeared to be some type of white cloth fabric in the field to the south of the site. Borders hovered over the white fabric and requested I walk out to where the fabric was to see if I could determine what it was. As I was walking south towards the material, I came across an area where the ground had visibly been disturbed, as if somebody had been digging there. I pointed out my findings to Saylor. At that time, Borders requested that we come back to the vehicle, as he had been able to get close enough to the material to identify it as a bed sheet. Greg advised us that during their search of the Watts residence that morning, there was a fitted sheet that was missing from a bed sheet set that was found in the trash. I advised Greg of the area that we had discovered where the ground was disturbed. So as early as August 15th at around 2 p.m., they had found that where he had dug. Took control of the SUAS and photographed the well site from the south, incorporating the sheet and the disturbed ground into my photographs. I also took close-ups of the disturbed ground and located the head of rake in the dirt. I later located the handle of the rake to the east of the disturbed dirt. So that was, I guess, used to mark where it was for Chris. Borders and Saylor went out into the field to verify that the item was a sheet. They approached the sheet by circling around the fence line to the south from the west, and approached the sheet from the south. They were able to confirm it was a sheet and also located two black garbage bags with red drawstrings in the field near the sheet. After identifying the sheet, they came back to the vehicles the same way they went in. Later, Sailor, Borders, and myself went out into the field by circling around the fence line to the south from the west and approached the sheet from the south again. Sailor confirmed the pattern on the sheet, matched the pattern from the Watts residence, and that it was a fitted sheet, which was the type of sheet missing from the Watts residence. While we were waiting for further directions, Sailor came over and advised us that Christopher had confessed to killing Shanann, Celeste, and Bella. Sailor advised that he had disposed of the bodies somewhere in the area of the well site we were at. Later, Sailor brought over his cell phone and showed Borders and myself one of the pictures I had taken with the SUAS showing the disturbed ground and well site in it. Sailor told us that Christopher had marked on the picture where he had disposed of the bodies. The disturbed ground had initials written on it, and each storage tank had initials written on them. Sailor stated Shanann was buried where the ground was disturbed, and Celeste and Bella's bodies were each inside one of the tanks. Borders redeployed the SUAS and photographed the oil storage tanks where Celeste and Bella's bodies were presumed to be. CBI's crime scene unit arrived on scene and requested that we take more photos of the oil storage tanks and a video of the entire scene. I redeployed the SUAS and photographed the oil storage tanks from various angles, and then recorded a video showing the site from a 360-degree view and close-ups of the major areas of interest. That concluded the use of the SUAS at the well site. All photographs have been attached to this report and saved in our digital evidence folder. The video was not attached to this report due to its size. The CBI's crime scene unit later requested assistance when they were exhuming what was presumed to be Shanann's body from the shallow grave. I assisted by moving sand and dirt away from the edges of the dig site as they unearthed the body. I had no further participation at the scene once the body was removed from the shallow grave. No further action taken at this time. So, clearly Chris had planned on coming back there, for sure. And he also, for whatever reason, left himself very little time from when he got there to when his coworkers were coming. And he must have been rushing, considering he left, bed sheet out in the open and 2 garbage bags. It was clear that the dirt had been bothered, and at least leaving the sheets and stuff like that out would be silly. So I just can only conclude he didn't have a lot of time, and he was rushing. Supplemental narrative by Bryce Borders, date written August 22nd. On 8/15/18, at approximately 0900, I was asked by Sergeant Ian Albert of the Frederick Police Department if we could deploy our UAS in the area of an oil gas well site for photos and to search for anything related to their missing persons case. I advised we could, and Sergeant Albert said they would call later in the day when they are ready. At approximately 13:30 hours on August 15th, I was contacted by Commander Dave Egan of the Frederick Police Department regarding the use of our UAS at the oil gas site. Commander Egan advised me to meet 2 Colorado Bureau of Investigation agents and an Anadarko representative at the Love's gas station in Hudson, and we would caravan to the oil gas site north of the town of Rugen. I asked Commander Egan if permission from the controller of this particular property had been granted. I was advised Anadarko is the controller of this property, and they had granted permission to do so. On scene of the oil gas site, the Anadarko representative Luke explained they control the pad site and the property surrounding the pad encircled within a barbed wire fence. UAS Matrix 1 FAA registration numbers, that gives some numbers and letters, was assembled for use. Initially, I took photos of the oil gas site, see attached. Afterwards, I began a systematic search of the property encircled in the barbed wire fence area south of the main pad site. I observed an object that didn't match the color of the surrounding terrain. I maneuvered the UAS lower to observe the object and identified the object as a bed sheet. After the discovery of the sheet, I landed the UAS. Myself and Agent Sailor with the CBI approached the sheet on foot from the southernmost point of the fence to observe the sheet. While doing so, we observed 2 black trash bags in close proximity to the sheet. Later, myself and Agent Sailor approached the sheet again from the same direction as before, to compare the pattern of the sheet to a photo Agent Sailor had from the sheets in the Watts home. The sheet pattern in the photo matched the pattern of the sheet at the oil gas site. I then remained on scene to assist in exhuming the presumed body of Shanann Watts. I assisted by moving dirt a short distance away from the edge of the dig site as CBI investigators removed dirt to expose the body. Afterwards, I cleared the scene. On August 16th, I removed the photos and video from the SD card in Matrix 1. I placed the photos on a thumb drive and the video on another thumb drive and delivered them to the Frederick Police Department. I then placed the photos and video in the digital evidence folder on the Firestone Police Department storage system under this case number. End of report. That was again, that was Bryce Borders wrote that one. So then going on to page 266, on here it's very, it's like black and white and very grainy, the photos, but you can see them, and what's obvious to be the sheet and the oil site and the tanks and everything. That's on page 266 and 267. So these pictures are obviously look this way because they're I guess because of the way they were put on this report. But you've all probably seen most of these pictures before. So that is where we're going to end part 14 on finishing page 267 there. So that was some interesting information there. It was interesting being taken through that narrative of what was going on while he was in the investigation room, and unfortunately, these are all innocent bystanders, innocent victims that are also collateral damage. That Chris caused. The people that have to see this kind of stuff, and these officers, and it's very difficult now, I'm sure, for them after dealing with things like this, and we thank them. This is the type of service that they have to do that we thank them for, and we're sorry that they have to experience that kind of just horrific type of thing to find. Thank you for being here. This was not easy. I only imagine that at certain parts it's going to even get worse than that when we get into the autopsy. So again, I'll keep giving fair warning. If there's anything better I can do in terms of giving you that fair warning and ensuring that nobody's seeing or hearing anything that they'd rather not, just please let me know, and I'll do my best to accommodate everyone. But as you know, obviously the nature of this is very difficult, and so it's going to have some things like that. Thank you once again for being here, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.